What's up, guys? Welcome back to What Cheers. I'm Nick. Alright, so the Barrel Aged Pumpkin series didn't really pan out the way I wanted it to. Unfortunately, I was just as surprised as you guys are probably watching it. They just weren't good. You know, it happens. It's beer. It's not all going to be amazing. So I decided to pull it back in here to something more local, something that I think is just going to be a really solid beer. And it is in fact a pumpkin beer. So what I have here is a pumpkin crop lager from Jack's Abbey out of Framingham, Massachusetts. They're just about an hour away from me. Really cool small brewery up in Mass, and they're just producing amazing stuff. The thing about Jack's Abbey that is so cool is that they do only lagers. They don't do any ales, but they do their lagers in very innovative ways, very innovative styles. Basically what they do is they take a lot of what you'd expect to see in ales and they put them in a lager form. For instance, an IPA or a double IPA, they do a double IPL or an IPL India Pale Lager as opposed to an India Pale Ale, obviously. And so that's just one of the things that they do, but they strictly do lagers, and very creative guys up there, very nice people. And the lagering process takes a lot longer than ales to do. It has colder fermentation. It's 4 times as long usually to do a lager as opposed to an ale. So there's a lot of care that goes into these beers that they do, and they're usually pretty small batch because of that. So this one just came out. I actually had a bottle from last year just kicking around in the fridge. So I picked up the new bottle. This is a 2013, just came out. I will read you what it says in the bottle. Harvest time calls for this seasonal beer featuring pumpkins grown by our mom and pop as well as other New England farms. Perfect for the fall season, a blend of autumnal spices complements an intense pumpkin flavor. Pumpkin crop lager uses 100% locally sourced ingredients, and it is 5.5% alcohol. Now, interesting enough, on the 2012 bottle, it says a little bit different stuff on it. The 2012 harvest on our mom and pop's farm was fruitful, and this brew uses 100 fresh pumpkins and 40 organic squash. We prepared, cooked, and pureed all the gourds with the help of our friends at Carrie Modern Diner. A blend of autumn spices adds to the intense pumpkin flavors. Uses locally sourced ingredients. So this is also 5.5% alcohol. As far as I know, everything they do is unfiltered, unpasteurized, locally sourced ingredients from Mass always. So I'm really excited to dive into this one, guys. Let's do it. Alright guys, so I got both the pumpkin crop lagers poured into the glasses. If you're wondering why I poured the entire bottle into each glass, I don't know either. It just happened, and I'm going to really just enjoy it and drink it down my throat. And that's what's going to happen right now, so let's get right into it. Basically, on the appearance, the 2012 is definitely lighter in color. It's almost like an orange, a dark orange, but it is really nice. It reminds me of a pumpkin kind of color to it. You can see through it, it's clear, and there's a nice stream of carbonation coming up. There was no head really to speak of when I poured it, so that's pretty much that. So on the 2013, as you can probably see on the camera, it's a hell of a lot darker, and it is also completely hazy. You can't see anything through it. You can see the carbonation, which looks nice, and there was a finger of a white head, but it's pretty much gone, same way as the 2012 dissipated. But it's a much darker beer, and it's really hazy. Alright, so let's go ahead and get an aroma on the 2012 Pumpkin Crop Lager. Oh, that's really nice. You're getting a lot of the actual pumpkin flesh, that roasted pumpkin. It's very squashy smelling in a good way. Definitely picking up some of that classic pumpkin pie spices in there. You know, that nutmeg, that cinnamon, that clove. Yeah, it's really, really nice. It smells very inviting. Let's go ahead and get a smell on the 2013 version. Alright, so this aroma is much more subdued. I'm getting a little bit more of the roastiness to it. The spices are not jumping out at me like with the 2012. The spices are really present in your face. Everything's sort of subdued in this one. I'm getting some of that squashy roasted character to it, which is obviously the roasted pumpkin. But yeah, as far as the spices are concerned, they definitely toned it down in this one, as far as I can tell in the aroma so far. Alright guys, let's get a taste on the 2012 Pumpkin Crop Lager. Cheers. Yeah, you know, for a year old, and it's 5.5% alcohol, this beer held up well, held up really well. It has that nice pumpkin pie spice right up front. You get slapped with that. Very, very clean, very, very refreshing tasting. It's not a heavy beer whatsoever. It definitely follows through with some of that pumpkin gourd kind of squashy taste to it. A little bit of a roasted note to it as well, because it is using roasted pumpkins. A touch of sweetness, but I think like it's really like a pumpkin pie beer light version. You know what I mean? Like it's just super, super drinkable. Nothing's too in your face. It's just very approachable. All the pumpkin pie spices are there, but they're all really light. And that's a really nice thing, actually, if you're not into the like over-the-top pumpkin beers. So let's go ahead and get a taste on the 2013 version. Oh, completely different beer. Completely different beer. Wow, that's like night and day. Wow. I can tell you right off the bat, the 2012 is drinking much better than the 2013 version. In fact, I'm barely detecting really any kind of pumpkin pie spices in this version, which is really, really the opposite of what I expected. I expected the 2012 to be more underwhelming than the 2013, but yeah, let me try to take another sip. Yeah, there's almost like a medicinal taste right up front. It's a little bit weird. You're definitely not getting the pumpkin pie spices that you were in this version, where it actually tasted like a pumpkin beer. This one has more of like a dark, like roasty note to it. It's got a lot more of the fleshy kind of roasted pumpkin going on. There's really not a whole lot of that pumpkin spice though. All in all, two completely different beers, and they're the same beer. 1 year, they obviously definitely brewed this beer differently, which is why I read the label at the beginning, because they definitely just did things differently this year. And the flavors and aromas, even the appearance, you can tell it's a different beer. So I'm going to sit with these for a couple minutes, and I'll come back to you guys with my final score. Alright guys, so I've been sitting here for about 10 minutes with both of these, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. But yeah, the 2012 version of this beer is exceptional. It's actually a really good pumpkin beer, absolutely delicious. It held up amazingly for 1 year at 5.5%. I'm really impressed. A lot of pumpkin pie spices, really, really nice and crisp and clean. Refreshing almost for a pumpkin beer, which you don't hear very often. And the spices and the sweetness just all make sense. The 2013, however, is really just, honestly, is a mess. I'm being honest, guys. Like, I'm not doing these reviews to shit on these beers. This is just really as surprising to me as it is to you watching. I don't know what they did this year. It's like a lot of burnt malts and like a medicinal taste to it. There's no aroma. There's no pumpkin flavors in there at all. There's no pumpkin pie flavors. It's just kind of like a burnt caramel malt type thing. This one, however, I would say is definitely up in the higher 80s. In fact, this beer has an 87 score on Beer Advocate, which I'm assuming is mostly rated from this version, because there's not many people who have reviewed this version. So I would agree with the 87 on this one. I think it's just definitely up there with the good tasting pumpkin beers. Is it great? Is it like blow your mind? No, but it's a good pumpkin beer. And if that's what you're looking for, get a 2012 bottle of the Pumpkin Crop Lager. Then I don't know. That's my best review I can give you for this beer. But they brew phenomenal beer at Jack's Abbey. So please go get some of their beer, trade for it, check out the reviews on some of their other beers. They're incredible. So anyways, guys, it's another try. It's another sort of miss. I feel like I got something out of this review. I hope you did too. I'm not going to stop. We're going to keep going. We're going to try to find some more beers that I haven't tried yet, haven't reviewed yet, that maybe will surprise me and you. So I'm hoping that it's going to get better from here to Thanksgiving, and I'll kind of just wrap up all the fall-inspired beers then, and yeah, it's going to be a good time, guys. So stick with me, and I'll see you in the next beer review. Thanks a lot. Cheers.